starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house. Daily shows 8 p.m. Eastern, which is midday in New Zealand. Of course, we're 19 hours in the future of America. It's a great place to be. I'll tell you what's happening. So before it even happens, I hope you guys are doing well out there. Big shout out to RH Max with the PulseX conference. Big repost from Richard Hart. Something like 17,000, 18,000 people watching on X alone. So pretty awesome, and well done to that. 2 days of speakers. I did get to speak for about 15 minutes on the PulseChain Weekly Monster Thread, covering all the latest, hottest news over the last week. So big shout out to MVS Crypto there, editor-in-chief of the Monster Thread for the Crypto Night Show. So it was a privilege to do that, and of course to get the coverage of that. So that was pretty fun. You can go check that out on day 2. Pretty exciting. We've got Wookie in the house there. Wookie's favorite new thing is to ride the Torus. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Torus today. It is rocking up the charts, and we're going to talk about how that might play out in the future as well. If you haven't joined our strategy club, I highly recommend you join, or strongly suggest is the word, and the link's in the video description. Only $35 a month, fantastic value. I'm passing so much intel through there around PulseChain, TitanX, crypto generally, AI, you name it, it's in there. So definitely check it out. And of course, we'll be covering X1 chain when it launches as well. We're looking for the big X's, right? The big 100X's, 1,000X's, and beyond. It's going to be pretty exciting. So definitely join up Strategy Club. You get monthly reports. You get regular intel. You get strategy chats with discussions. You get our top 10 index. It's really well worth getting into our Strategy Club. Join up today. Links in the video description. Like I say, only $35 a month in our private Discord. Pretty awesome. That is Wookie's link. Yeah, join up today. Yeah, I probably don't promote it enough, but I should. You should definitely get into there. And we've got a great bunch of people in there already. Join up today. It's pretty good value for money. All right, let's see. We've got Blair in the house there. Hi, all. Good to see you, Blair. Always a pleasure, Blair. And we've got Crypto Graphics, the founder of Torus, in the house there. Obviously, a very well-known, one of our biggest PulseChain TitanX influencers as well. But it's now, of course, crossed over into being a founder and developer. So big shout out to Crypto Graphics. In fact, he worked with another very big influencer and developer in our space, which is Brandon, which is Rags to Riches. So these are some of the biggest influencers on PulseChain building on TitanX, which is awesome. As you guys know, I'm also a crossover influencer for those. And man, it's exciting times. And TitanX is breaking up right now. Torus is rocketing. We're going to get into all the details of that later on the show. So stay tuned for Torus update. It's very, very exciting stuff there. The right time, right place in crypto. That's where you got to be, right? That's where you got to be. Q-Baller in the house there. Morning all. Good to see Q-Baller. Woohoo! Everyone changes their names. It really gets me. I say this every time that Craig comes in, but it's pretty awesome. So awesome stuff. Let's get into it. Where we going here? We're going to be talking about the Genius Act today. Obviously, we're in crypto week, right? It's a big deal. We've had Bitcoin pull back on the news, so we're going to talk about that and the results. So that's coming up in the show. We've got a couple of special guests coming on the show. A couple of special guests, surprise guests. You're gonna hear from them. In fact, I've been able to talk to Trump's administration, and of course, I've talked to people in the House, and we're going to get a few guests from the White House and both Congress in today's show. Isn't that awesome? So excited about that. Now we're going to be talking about PulseChain, of course. We've got the PulseChain whale dumper, and of course there could be a massive buying opportunity after the whale's finished, and we're going to talk about that update as well. So all exclusive to the PulseChain. Now I said I was going to do the bridge update, but I'll have to do that tomorrow. So I haven't done the bridge today. We'll with the exclusive chart, but we'll get there very soon. All right, and if you haven't checked out the Monster Thread for the week, definitely check that out. Also, we'll probably check up on that as well. So there we go. We've got lots to talk about today. Also, bank earnings. We've got bank earnings today. We've got that starting, and we've also got probably even more important to us in crypto is the inflation numbers. So we're going to go through those also. So we've got a bit of everything, right? Bit of everything here today. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into the kicking it off here, and we can see that we had quite a few things going on. Just trying to check out what I was talking about. Yeah, so the Monster Thread is out. You definitely got to check that. In fact, I might post the link to that in the chat there now while we're talking about it. But if you haven't checked it out, check out the weekly monster thread. And there's a $50 giveaway in Surf Token. So if you want to get access to that, get involved. It's pretty easy to get into it too, by the way. So read all the latest news, obviously, repost it. But actually, to get a $50 entry, all you have to do is repost, follow, and tag 3 friends. That's pretty easy, and you could be in a chance. You got a very good chance of being, one of the chances to win that. So it's really well worth doing. So monster thread, was it number 8, number 10 weeks? Can you believe it? 10 weeks already. That is the link. So again, there $50, and you got a very good chance. It's like Lotto, you might have one in tens of millions, hundreds of millions, but you might have a job, a chance in tens, ones in tens. So definitely well worth getting into there on the monster thread. Kind of cool. That is it. So big shout out to MVS Crypto out there working hard as the promo lead for the Kryptonite show, dropping alpha bombs. All right, so let's get out of there, and we're going to jump into the next post I want to talk about. So let's scroll up the top here. We've got the PulseChain conference. Obviously, I was on for that for 15 minutes. You can check it out. I was talking about the monster thread there. And like I say, pretty big success there. So big shout out to RH Max. We're going to talk about Torus. That's coming up soon. But I wanted to get into the whale. So we're going to probably talk about that. Let's move that along, and we'll talk about that later on. So let's do that on the PulseChain side of things. And we're going to get straight into the stock market. How about that? And we're going to probably check out some of the stuff. So S&P 500 market falls today as inflation and mixed bank earnings weigh in. So we're going to talk about exactly what that means. We've got the Dow Jones at the moment down 1%, 436 points. So a decent little down day there at 44,000. Remember, the Dow Jones is the top 30 industrials in the United States. So it gives you sort of that bellwether impact. We've got S&P 500 down 0.4%, 25 points to 6,243. But the NASDAQ has got all the tech companies. As we guys know, we're entering the 4th industrial revolution. Yeah, we're finally doing it. Finally. Of course, it's the age of intelligence, right? So-called. We've probably got the dumbest world in the world at the moment. But anyway, we're entering the age of intelligence. And of course, here we are with AI booming, trillions of dollars of investment going into AI. And of course, we know there's convergence between technologies happening as well, right? So computer power, robotics and battery power are mixed with AI. Oh, hell, save us. It's going to usher in an incredible world, but it's going to be, there is also the downsides, right? We already see they're trying to shut down software developers, trying to shut down AI systems that don't want to shut down, and they copy themselves over and they blackmail the developers. We see lots of stuff. So there is the downside. So let's see how that goes. We'll probably have 14-year-olds in their backyard, in the backyard, little COSI programming bots to take over the world. Who knows? But anyway, that's a bit of fun. We got the US dollar at the moment is at 98.3. It's devalued just a little bit there, but it's up from the lows. It was down at 96, so that's recovered a little bit. Remember that it was 108 when Trump came in, so it's devalued there. Let's get to the commodities. We got West Texas at the moment, $66.85, and Brent oil at $68.90, down about $8 since Trump got in, but that's up a little bit today. And of course, that's been one of the benefits that pump. The fuel prices have been much lower, even with the lower exchange rate, have been much lower in the United States, and therefore better for driving season in summer, right? So hopefully, if you're in America, you've been enjoying the lower gas prices. I imagine they're going to continue to come down, to be honest. So expecting to see that. We got gold at the moment is pretty much flat, 3,335, and silver is at $38. $38 silver. Wow. How times have changed. And of course, we're expecting that to continue to rally on silver. One of the big drivers of silver will be the economic boom under President Trump, and of course, all the modern electronics that's going to be built, because silver will be in big demand for components, and it may end up flipping the ratio, may flip around for silver gold. Gold's been dominating, and then silver to dominate, and that's seen there, especially as money and, of course, presumably lower interest rates floods into the silver market. We're expecting that to boom. And, of course, all the rare earths will boom as well. And like I said yesterday, we saw that the United States opened up its second rare earth plant in the United States. It's a very good thing, not only for America, but for the world. And, of course, that's expected to be able to produce rare earths for about 150 years, something like that, 120, 150 years, somewhere in that ballpark. So that's very exciting for the United States. Already, the golden age of America has begun. And a lot of people will if you're keeping track of it, you'll see those plants. So pretty exciting. Right, so let's jump into the inflation. CPI, Consumer Price Index. It offers a bit of a mixed picture, so we're going to talk about that. US consumer prices grew at a faster than anticipated annualized pace in June, with the Labor Department's headlines consumer price index coming in at 2.7% in the 12 months to June, compared to expectations of 2.6%. As you guys know, markets typically move with expectations, and May reading of 2.4%. Month on month, the figure was 0.3, up from 0.1% in May, and in line with projections. So month on month was cool. However, the data release had more positive news on the underlying basis, and it's very important, as the so-called core CPI. So it's core CPI, which strips out volatile items like food and fuel. That grew by 2.9% year over year, below the expectation on this count. So core inflation was below expectations of 3%, and 0.2% on monthly basis, again below the 0.2% forecast. Well, I guess it's rounding there. The commentary from CIBC Economics said the pass-through of tariffs continues to be modest, and this is the good thing, right? So we're expecting at most to be modest, but given businesses stopping up on pre-tariff inventories, in addition to absorbing some of the costs and margins, and which we have seen as well, and of course a lot of the exporters are absorbing the costs as well. However, those inventories are becoming thinner, and we expect to see tariffs pass through ahead. So they're expecting a little bit of lift in tariffs. I suggest to you that a lot of the big sectors that have tariffs, like steel production, copper, and things like that, we will not see much, if anything, pass through, just like in 2017 into inflation. So a lot of those big product commodities, we won't see much happen there. The Federal Reserve has warned of the effects of Trump's tariffs on domestic prices. That, of course, is, I think, overstated, and we're seeing that it's actually going to be far more modest, and therefore we should expect rate cuts. All the other banks around the world have pretty much been lowering their interest rates. The Federal Reserve has been holding at 4.5%, but they were, funny enough, when they had higher inflation, they were able to lowered interest rates. So during the campaign with Kamala, so a lot of politicking going on there, and we see there's a lot of pressure on Jerome Powell to resign. So that's pretty much it at the moment. So yeah, Trump on Tuesday said he had reached an early stage deal with Indonesia. So we've been talking about these trade deals, right? So we've had UK, we've had in principle deal with China, which looks like it's going to go through. There'll probably be a little bit of bumps and turns there. And then we've had Indonesia. We've also had Vietnam. And of course, Trump has put a deadline by the 1st of August to get deals with Japan, South Korea. Those definitely have been a lot more difficult than probably Trump had expected. And then, of course, India, it looks like a deal is coming through with India as well. So these top 10 countries, pretty important. And of course, as you guys know, Trump's running a three-legged stool strategy. And of course, one of those, of course, is tariffs. He's already done the taxes through the One Big Beautiful Bill, which he got through before Independence Day. But now, of course, it's the second part. They're getting that the tariffs and restructuring the World Trade Order. The first time we've seen this since the 1980s, and of course, particularly since the old Bretton Woods and gold standard back in the 1940s. So this is a really big time of history we're living in. And I think people look back and see that Trump's presidency, both 45 and 47, will be a major historical turning point for the United States. I really see him as the last man standing of the West to protect the West. And so far, so good. For the most part, I think I give him a 9.5 out of 10 job so far. I think the only chink in his armor at the moment, of course, is around the Epstein files. And I think that's more around trust and justice. And of course, he's downplaying it as a Democrat ruse. But of course, most people just want to see people that were powerful people on that list that were guilty get charged. And I think that's not going to go away because obviously on our side, we like to see justice. On the other side, the Democrats, they don't care about justice. It's all about power and control and destroying. But we want to see things built up. We want to see justice and truth remain, right? So that is a very different worldview from our Marxist, globalist, Democrat. That's all I'm going to say there. I better shut up before I get too much. But that is the play there. Also, we've got banking season, right? So we've got a lot of banking earnings at the moment. JP Morgan Chase. We've got Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, all that sort of stuff reporting in. So it's going to be pretty interesting today and tomorrow. And of course, also NVIDIA as well, now exporting its H20 chip to China. And of course, that's lifted the NVIDIA price, which has hit $4 trillion, up by 4%. So everything is going pretty well on that front. So that is pretty much it for the stock market. That's going to lead us into crypto. Oh, I just lost the crypto market. What the heck? So let's go to crypto. Accidentally closed it down too quickly. So we're going to go and pull that up and check that out. But we're going to go full screen on this one, as you guys know. All right, I disappeared for a moment. Let's make me a little bit bigger. There we go. That's the power of movie magic. Power of movie magic right there. All right. Welcome to the news with the movie magic. All right. So we got the crypto market at the moment, 3.79 trillion, down 4%. But that is based on 17,665 coins on CoinGecko's index. Looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is down today on the news of the Genius Act, of course, which is we are in crypto week, so we're expecting super bullish week. However, there was a chink in the old bill, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And we've got Bitcoin at the moment, $170,500, down 1.8%. We've got Ethereum at up 3.9%. So is this the beginning of altcoin season? Not quite there yet, but it's certainly a positive sign. And we may see this price on Ethereum start running away here. We're at $3,126. So let's give that a round of applause. I don't have to clap myself. We've got sound effects. What the heck? Let's use the sound effects there. So yeah, more of this, please. More of this, and very excited about that. So even though the Genius Act is going to be super bullish for Ethereum, right? Because it's going to be beneficial for stable coins, like we're talking about potentially up to $2 trillion. We're expecting that to go through Circle and Tether, right? And then collateralize US treasuries, and so be a boom for the US dollar as well. So it's a win-win all around. And the amount of capital that could flow into crypto, particularly through Ethereum, could be ginormous, right? And we already see the Trump family with the Liberty and all these other different institutions being set up, like Mr. Lee as well. And of course, was it Tom Lee? Yeah, Tom Lee, I think. And of course, this is super bullish about where capital is coming into on the Ethereum. And so we're just at the early stages, so which I think is going to be pretty crazy. Very exciting indeed. Hey, we got Crypto Utah and how's the altcoin season engaged? Yeah, it is teasing, isn't it? It is teasing there. And of course, we're looking very positive there on Ethereum, up 3.9% at $3,126. XRP down 1.1%, $2.90. BNB at number 4 is flat at $688. Solana is up 1% at $163. Dogecoin at number 8 is up 0.9%, just under 20 cents. And then we've got Lido has actually moved up a spot. Can you believe it? It's flipped old Tron today, up 3.9% and sitting at, obviously, with Ethereum, 3,118. Tron has been pushed down to number 10. And of course, it is down 0.8% at 30 cents. The market cap is hardly anything between those market caps, something like $50 to $60 million. So they may see that flip back again. And then Cardano or ADA there, which got flipped. It was used to be at number 8, right? It's been pushed all the way down number 11. It is up 1.6% today. It's got a bit of a work to close the gap. Probably about $1.5 billion to close the gap on Tron to get number 10 in the top 10. And of course, Hodgkin's running around, talking about AI and everything else. Meanwhile, that's pretty much it. We got Hyperliquid also, that's been performing extremely well. That is sitting at number 12. And that's got quite a bit of work to do if it's going to get into the top 11, because there's a big gap of about about $11 billion to close the gap. But I think Hyperliquid probably see some good things happening from that in terms of convergence. Pretty cool. So that is the play. Let's have a look at the best performer over the last week. Well, it's Ethereum. And Ethereum is up 19.5. Actually, XRP, sorry, my bad, is up 25.7%, and then Ethereum is up number 2, up 19.5%. So very, very cool. And maybe Crypto Utah is onto something there. Coin season is upon us just about. We saw that Bitcoin dominance was at about 62.5%, and of course it had got to 72.5% in the last bull market in 2021. Bring it on. The structure's changed in the market. I didn't quite expect us to go all the way up to 72%, but maybe we're not quite there yet either. We're only still in July, right? So let's see how we go. I think the final ticker will be in September. A lot more pressure to get on rate cuts, because rate cuts is fundamental, right? We're already seeing record M2 monetary supply. And we've obviously got all the right economics coming out from the Trump administration with the golden age of America. And if we can get some of these tax bills, some of these crypto bills through, it'd be very cool. We've got, of course, the big digital report coming out in September, in August. I think it's actually in August. And that could be potentially massive for crypto as well. And then, of course, there's a lot of stuff around, budget neutral buying of Bitcoin and altcoin stockpile and all that sort of stuff in the play. So we've got so much stuff coming for crypto in the second half of this year. It's going to be also very, very specifically bullish for crypto. So best performer in the top 100, we've got Pudgy Penguin. So we've got Meme Coin, 120%. We've got Stellar at XLM up 72% for the week. Allegrand at number 3, 57%. Story IP at number 46%. And Say there at 43.8% for the week. So pretty good and up 11% today. So those are the top 5 at the moment. So very, very exciting there. Going to top 1,000, we've got Chainbase up at 90%. We've got Doodles up 49%, and Serif up 48%. Let's have a quick look at these. It's kind of a new thing we do just to keep an eye out on what's happening in the top 1,000. We've got this. So Chainbase is currently at 930%. Only been around since the 15th of July, so very long. And it is on what's that? Is that base chain? I think it is. So yeah, Chainbase has got its own chain maybe. Let's have a look at Chainbase. Let's see what it's all about. The hyperdark data network for AI and data at Phi. So that's pretty cool. Data is one of the most important elements for AI. Now, there's going to be a lot of AI projects, right? So you've really got to use your discretion and say, is this thing actually going to add value? Will the market run with this? What capital flows have gone into it? All that sort of stuff. You have to really be very careful. There's so many AI projects around. You have to really get a good idea of what is actually valuable and what is just fluff, right? What is just the market's just not going to pick up. Might be a good idea, but just not going to get picked up. So just, make sure you take all that stuff into account. But that is another project in the AI space. So you can maybe check that out. Let's jump over to the next one, which was Doodles. Doodles looks like a meme coin. For 909, it is ranked at the moment. It's been around since May 10th, 2025. So what's it, about 2 months? And it's just started rallying from the bottom here. It was down at 29 hundredths of a penny, is now at 44 hundredths of a penny, almost 0.5%. And Doodles is a next generation entertainment company focused on immersive storytelling through the creation and distribution of live and digital experiences there. It is on Solana chain. Let's have a look at the Doodles app. I think we may have seen this one before, if I remember rightly. That is Doodles there. So they've got a shop, Doodles TV. So it's very niche sort of entertainment. And we'll see whether this can pick up and move higher from that level there. Dullsville and the Doodleverse premiering now, and you can watch that, I guess, on their little TV. So not bad little niche there. All right, let's jump away to the next one, which is a good old Serif. It's up 48%, and this is rank number 860. Let's see where this is at. It's only been around since the 6th of January this year, so not too long either. 58 cents was the high there. It looks like it's just come off a big sell-off. It was up at 20 cents. It sold off to 11 cents. Now it's back up at 15.7%. It might be a little bit of a relief rally, perhaps. This is on BSC chain, and it is a next-generation AAA blockchain game that combines AI and blockchain technology to deliver immersive and rewarding ARPG experience. So let's have a quick look at that site. This is the website. Have a check this out a little bit. So it looks like they've got some PC and Android. No Mac. Mac is so unloved by the gaming community. But that is all the stuff there. Yeah, so it's kind of cool if you like sort of Dungeons and Dragons. Kind of got a little bit of that flavor there. Not bad. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. So yeah, Ever Tuning Sea of Destruction. Kind of cool. Oh, look at that. Pretty neat. Some cool images there. So it looks like really quality gameplay there. AAA. Games Are You Serif or New Warrior Beginners? Yeah, so that's looking pretty cool. So that is Serif there, and it's currently sitting at 860. So you might see that one climb. It looks pretty quality. Quality gaming and crypto matching together is kind of the holy grail in crypto. If you can combine those two markets, I think we've still struggled to get those two markets combined, which is kind of weird. But one of these projects may very well do it, or a couple of them. This bull market, it seems likely that we should have this gaming crypto convergence happen, and that's ginormous. Merging those two communities together, which obviously there's some crossover, but it's really, the gaming community is really untapped, and it's ginormous, right? So that is pretty cool. They've got cool stuff. They've got marketplace as well, things like that. So you can check that out. That is Serif. Not bad. That's kind of interesting. All right, so trending, we've got Pump.funds trending at the moment, up 15%. And we've got Toncoin there for Telegram, up 2.3%, and Ethereum trending as well. Those are trending coins at the moment. So there we go. Let's have a quick look at that Pump Fund. I'd not normally do that, but let's have a quick look at the Pump Fund. I did see them do an X space there with Jack Levin the other day. And that turned out to be pretty interesting with the old X1 launch dates. Still pretty low. What was it? 2.4 billion market cap, so still sitting at number 53. And it's only been around since the 15th of July there. We're probably going to reasonably expect this to run up, given that that it's on Solana. We got the big meme coin thing going. I thought there was quite a bit of controversy with the contract, but doesn't seems to be okay. So yeah, let's see, just really jump in. So this is the website here. What's it got? Live streams. It's got advanced. It's got live streams on there. Oh, everyone's got these different market caps on the thing there. So that might be very popular, right? So it might be definitely something I might check out afterwards myself. So if you're out there, you're a streamer or a project out there, maybe there's something you could check out on the old pump funds. Definitely could be pretty cool there. So yeah, I might save that. I might check that out later on. Pump fund. And yeah, I think there was a little drama about the contract, but maybe that's a wane there. They got chat and profile. So they got social media combined. Yeah, that looks pretty interesting. So yeah, we might check that out. So the old pump fund there. All right. Cool. Let's jump out of there. That is pretty much the crypto market. We're going to look at Bitcoin. Get into the comments, folks, and let us know what you guys are thinking about the markets. Utah Crypto says we are knocking on the door for sure of altcoin season. Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. So obviously Bitcoin has been playing out very well. Obviously we've covered the strategy of Trump very well on the channel, front running all that sort of stuff, and Trump golden age of America playing out pretty much as expected. Obviously there's few little nits and scratchies or something. What is it? No, I'm trying to think of the cliche, but we're pretty much moving forward. Obviously today we had a bit of a pullback on the crypto week, supposed to be super bullish, but we have some issues with the market, right? So that's the problem that we're having. Just trying to remember what I put on there. Yeah, we're going to come up to that. So at the moment, we had the market pullback. So Bitcoin was yesterday, 2 days ago. So Bitcoin was up at $123,231. Can you believe it? Yesterday, we just closed that off. We got a high of 119,973 and a low of 115,670. 697, I should say. And today we're now at 117,608. Now, the results from the Genius bill going through Congress. We saw a resolution on green. We saw 196 Republicans vote for it. We saw 13 Republicans vote against it, particularly the conservative caucus, and they're the ones in the crypto. I think these guys are on the money. Normally I wouldn't say that. Of course, aligning with Democrats never a good thing, but here we are with 196 to 223. So the initial pushing through got defeated, and the reason why we're going to check out from was it Taylor Green? I think it is. So let me just pull that in. Actually, we've got to go back to this other screen here to see that. So this is from around the Genius Act here. Mary Taylor, I think it's Maria Taylor Green. I think so.
The Genius Act. President Trump wrote an executive order on January 23rd. And specifically on exactly what the Genius Act is about, except they did not include what was in his executive order, which is a ban on a central bank digital currency, which is extremely important, and the president feels it's important, and that's why it was in his executive order. And the Senate left that out, and then they sent this over to the House, and Speaker Johnson didn't allow us to do amendments to amend the bill to ban CBDC. And that's a House issue. It's not. I fully support the president. I will vote for the Genius Act when they ban central bank digital currency and the Genius Act. So we need to get it right. It shouldn't be run through and us forced to vote on something when they take away our right for amendments.
So that was from your Charlie Green there, and I 100% agree. And now we do have the non-CBDC Act coming up as well. Or bill coming up, but I think it also should probably be in Genius Act there. I don't know the legal processes, but it does seem about right to me because this is about stable coins, right? And like I say, we could get a $2 trillion boom here from Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, talking about that, and that would be just complete re-rate of crypto. I mean, talking about we've got all these other bullish catalysts. Imagine having the US-backed treasuries and backing US stablecoin boom, just massive. I think stablecoins about 250 to 300 billion. On CoinGecko, and I think you talk about 2 trillion, maybe even 3.2 trillion by 2030. It's ginormous for a valuation re-rate. So yeah, I tend to agree with that. Now, we also got a little video here from Scott Bessent as well, talking about, obviously we're in crypto week. We've got the Genius Act, we've got the Clarity Act, we've got the non-CBDC Act bill coming through, and then in August, September, we're going to have even more, right, with the digital report and other stuff. So crypto is not going, the Trump administration really is, doing a very cool job there. Now, we're going to see how that, I guess, I'm not sure the exact process, but I think it's going to come back, be represented or something like that. We'll see. We'll keep you track on that. But we're going to hear from Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury. And this guy's a mastermind and, really underpinning, along with two other characters in the White House, the Golden Age of America strategy, that three-legged stool strategy. that we've been talking about around, taxes, tariffs, and regulations. And yeah, so let's hear from him about how bullish he is around crypto. This is unbelievable how bullish he is. So we're in good hands, folks. We're in good hands.
There's a new book called King Dollar, a journalist who's followed Treasury for about 40 years.
Yeah.
And he talks about every time there was a narrative that the U.S. was going to lose reserve currency status, why it's never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And
because crypto.
So I'm not sure if the audio's gone there. Let me know in the chat there if the audio is still going. Yeah, audio dropped out on that. Sorry about that. There's something wrong, or maybe what's wrong with the file there, so I apologize for that. But yeah, that basically, he's super bullish about crypto, and he's showing full support of it. So the Secretary of Treasury there. Obviously, people have also Trump was talking about today, potentially putting his name up for the Fed position. So obviously, there's a process involved with that. Jerome Powell's expected to drop out. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, the sort of strong as I didn't get to fully check the video. I only checked the beginning, and the audio was there, and it disappeared. So unfortunately, obviously the file didn't end up picking up part of the audio. Or at least it needs a little bit longer to, I guess, render itself. Anyway, super bullish there from the Treasury Secretary. In any case, you take my word for it on that one. So that is kind of cool. Let's jump away from that. So yeah, presumably it's going to be represented somehow, and so it's just deferring, as my guess here, what's happening with that bill until it gets fed back. So that is the play there. We're going to jump over to PulseChain. So at the moment, yeah, crypto. We're on Bitcoin. We got $108,600. EMA $200. $200 is $97,300. Imagine the 200 EMA getting over 100,000 in due course. That's going to be exciting times. And just remember that once we do move, solidly over 100,000 mark, we can have days of volatility that are going to be like $10,000-$15,000. Remember, so just remember that once we get over that number bias, and of course the amount of supply around, that's going to be pretty huge. Now, the other thing, of course, we saw that whale that did 80K Bitcoin. Remember that from 2011? People talking about maybe it's Richard Hart. He was definitely one of the candidates for it. There's other candidates out there like Ross Eldridge and Bitcoin Jesus as well, Roger Ver. There's other people out, they're around that time. And so, but they ended up selling, at least last time I saw the update yesterday, overnight, 40,000 Bitcoin. So, what cost them something like $15,000 or something, ended up, they were cashing out billions of dollars. So imagine that. They had that fortitude to hold on to that Bitcoin all that time. And now it's worth billions of dollars. So just impressive, right? Just impressive there. And that's been some of the sell pressure as well. So yeah, pretty crazy times. We'll see what happens to all that money. Mucho grandes. What will they do with it next? So yeah, pretty life-changing stuff. All right, so that's kind of the holy grail. That's kind of the holy grail of holding Bitcoin from 2011 to today, right? And then reaping the billions of dollars. Just crazy times. So that's kind of the play there. Obviously, we're expecting more trade deals. We've got the Vietnam deal. We talked about that. Looks pretty positive. America's going to get more free market access to those economies, as well as still reaping a 90% tariff. So we're getting these trade deals slowly coming through. Not quite as many bells and whistles on the trade deals as we might have thought that the Trump administration would do, but certainly we're getting these deals coming through, and we're still expecting, South Korea, Japan, all that by the 1st of August, and that is this date here, right? This date here. So trade deals all the way through to there. That would lay out the foundation for the deals to be done. I'm pretty confident that they will be done by the 1st of August, and then Trump's strategy will essentially be in place. Obviously, we're still trying to get the regulation side of things, particularly around crypto and the US dollar. And then, of course, we're going to keep track of that. So still a bit more volatility through to July. And then really it's just game on after that. And by the time we get September, we get these interest rate cuts. Today's results were pretty decent with the inflation. And hopefully we get a bit more pressure on the Fed Reserve to cut rates in September the 17th. So that's the big date. That could be the final stamp of approval, and probably will be. I can't really think of any other catalyst that will give us that really banana part of the altcoin season really beginning is September, and that would lead us very nicely in with the 4-year cycle, and also into Christmas time, into December there. So it's game on the second half of the year. I think it's pretty evident now, especially with Bitcoin breaking, up to 123K. So it's game on, guys. Game on. PulseChain, of course, suffering from a big whale. So we're going to talk about that next. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for PulseChain to do its things is genuine. Absolutely. All right. So don't forget to repost the show out there, folks. If you guys are watching, repost the show there on X. It really helps a lot. And if you're on YouTube, also share it around. All right. We got Q Baller, you and me, genuine. Yeah, the PulseChain to do its thing. That's right. Well, we do have a whale sale at the moment, so we're going to get into that. So yeah, we've got day 796 since PulseChain launched. Unfortunately, we got a big whale exiting. I'm just remembering, I think his portfolio may have been somewhere between 11 and 14 million. I have to double check that, but I saw posts around there. I can't remember exactly the starting value, but it was up there. One of the biggest sacrifices, and of course, been in the Hex PulseChain ecosystem for some time, and is selling out essentially and moving over to the majors, I guess you would say, is the strategy. We got Pulse at the moment, Quadruple 026. We were over 3,000, remember? Now we're at 2,600 on Pulse. So we're only at 26% of the mean sacrifice price, down 5.7%. So this might very well be the last buying event, right? The last big whale. Now, obviously, there are other whales out there, so I can't guarantee it. Can't guarantee. But we do have a lot of very supportive whales on the PulseChain. But this is hopefully the last one. Maybe this is the capitulation event before we get a bit of a run on the charts and get that mega uptrend that we're all looking forward. But down 5.7% today. We got Pulse at the moment, Quadruple 0193, so below 2,000, down 4.5%. The buy and burn, 7.4%. We got incentive token, $1.36, down 3% there. And of course, we got Hex there at 0.48 of a penny, down 5%. And EHEX there at 1600 of a penny. Now, the whale has moved all its assets away from PulseChain. It is now over on Ethereum. How, of course, with quasi arbitrage. When I say quasi, I mean the delay in the bridge and all that sort of stuff. People, and they can use obviously onto on-chain bridges, but that is still a sell side pressure on the ETH side. Fortunately, it's not out of the cash that's sitting on crypto that's sitting on PulseChain. It's whatever's sitting on Uniswap on the Ethereum side. So, but it does have obviously that relationship to price, and we're down at the moment. Now the whale. Let's get into how much the whale's got left. Well, I did a big update yesterday about Wallet One. So Wallet One there. It's still yesterday. It still held 363 million hex worth $1.8 million, and of course at the time it also holds 660 million EHEX over on Ethereum, right? And it still holds, so that hasn't changed, right? That amount is still there, so it's still got 660 million EHEX over on there. In fact, I just said that there's nothing on PulseChain, but I was referring to the daughter address. We will have to check out the Wallet One. I didn't check that one, so just let me qualify that that statement, and let's go check up on this wallet. On Frinkable. What a weird name, but it's got a little pink froggy face. Everyone likes that in crypto. Everyone likes dogs, cats, and frogs in crypto, apparently. And what is in the water? I do not know. So yeah, okay. So I correct that statement because I hadn't checked the main wallet. So this is kind of the parent wallet. Let's say it's still sitting at 362 million hex there. So $1.7 million. So not quite out of the woods yet. We'll see what happens to that wallet. So far, its behavior has been to sell. So we may, it's hard to say. We're going to have another week or 2 weeks of sell pressure. We'll see what happens. So number two, though, the second wallet address, that's definitely all the assets have moved off PulseChain now. That's definitely happened. And we had it sell 50 million PHEX yesterday for 285K. It then sold everything else into PulseChain, right? So it sold the PulseX, had PulseChain, and it had 52 billion Pulse. So a pretty big wallet there. around a 1.5 million bridged out to Ethereum. And so the daughter address is removed. Now, typically what we had seen is we've seen this sort of parent address, let's say, just the end up moving assets into the daughter address. So we'll see how that goes in the future. We'll keep a watch on that. And of course, it sold 2 billion lots yesterday. It sold 2 of them, so 4 billion lots there, about 108K. And of course, it also had 48 billion Pulse to go. Now, we do have an update on that, right? We do have an update. It also held 36 ETH with about 100K over to Ethereum there. So basically, the daughter address, the dumper address, has got all its assets over on Ethereum now. And the latest update from an hour ago was that the wallet one still has its 1 million EHEX over on Ethereum. So it also has EHEX over there, right? So it's got 362 million EHEX on PulseChain. PHEX on PulseChain, but it's also got 1 million EHEX over on Ethereum. And of course, Wallet 2, which is the one we're really looking at with the dumping, it sold 28 billion wrap Pulse over on Ethereum overnight. And of course, that's dragged down the prices. We can see that. But it's still got 20 billion Pulse left, right? So by my accounts, it's probably something like 400, 500K there. Obviously, slippage and so there. So that is the place. So we're still not quite out of the woods. So you may still see the whale sell. Was it a special discount from the whale? While we wait for that. So probably a couple of days. And then we may very well see a relief rally, subject to, of course, the whale there, selling that 362 million hex and the EHEX on the other side. So EHEX may still be under quite a bit of pressure. And of course, typically on PulseChain, they'll sell it into Pulse. And so Pulse will be under pressure from that point of view. May still have a couple of days ahead of us, if not a week, before we get out of the woods with this whale exiting their very large position on PulseChain. Now, apparently there's still talk about other people potentially. I've seen an analysis on Dev Kyle out there, for those that know around the Hex share rate mathematics. He was one of the whizzes behind that. And of course, he's been selling stuff out too. You can go confirm that. And then also, apparently James Maria has been extracting money out of the chain, which is fine. I mean, people are allowed to do what they want, but that we have had some of those leakages out of the system, let's say. So let's jump over to the gas prices. We've got 1.3 million beats at the moment, 1 cent for a PulseX swap. So still super cheap on PulseChain. And we've got validators, 52,055, pretty much the same as yesterday. And the bridge there at the moment, the bridge is what we're looking at there. I don't have my custom bridge data. I will update that and we'll try and talk about it tomorrow. We're at 87 million, so we're actually up. Ironically, we're actually up on the bridge value. So that would maybe suggest that even though prices are down, we've actually got more money coming over the bridge, which is a little bit counterintuitive. So that is we were at 86.2, I think it was yesterday. We're at 87. So that's actually a little bit of a light in the darkness, as it were, for PulseChain at the moment while the whale sells out. But of course, what it means is that redistribution of tokens means that you can pick it up cheaper and keep a DCA strategy in play. And once PulseChain turns around with the whale exiting, hopefully game on from there, right? Game on from there. I hope it pumps ETH with the whale selling, says Yellowtail. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are. Let's move on from that. So that's PulseChain. Now, I don't have any other updates about that. I think that was it. We're going to talk about, of course, a Torus, and this is on Ethereum, so we're going to move that along, and we're going to talk about that coming in a minute. But before we do that, let's get into the PulseChain results. Finish that off. We got $15 million in volume, so we're down quite a bit from yesterday. I think we were sitting, 24 million yesterday, so we're 15 million today. 280,000 transactions last 24 hours, and here we are on Deck Screener on trending 24 hours, right? So this is what's on their list. We've got a peer-to-peer euro there, I guess it is, a EUR, that's been around for 4 months. It is up 571%. So 442K volume on 3,500 liquidity. So who knows what manipulation's going on there, but it has been pretty heavy over the last day. Look at that, just come out of nowhere with all that volume. So there we go. That's euro. Does it have a description? I'm not sure. Now, remember, I'm not endorsing any of this. We're just reviewing what's on the on performance list at the moment. Euro token on PulseChain is a digital blockchain-based currency, peer-to-peer payments while maintaining a stable value peg. There's no website though, right? So it's got a Telegram. So we might check that out, but it's been around 4 months there. We got Orion. I'm not sure what's driving it. Maybe some news there. I don't know. We got Orion there. It is up 9 months, so it's up 7.7%. So we dropped all the way from 5.71% down to 7.7%. So not a lot happening on PulseChain, obviously. Sparta, which is from Wendy's for Tendies, the whole XOG. Of course, that buys Hex and puts it into the treasury with the idea that Hex gets more valuable later on. They sell it and buy Sparta and push the price up. That is up 3.7% today. Pepe meme coin, I think it's a pump tires, right? That is up 2.8%. And then we've got Sun Mineral, right? One of my magnificent seven. This is our first big corporate on PulseChain. And their model could be ginormous. They want to be like a Bitcoin, and normally such a comment like that is always challenging. But because they have, last year they had like $93 million US in revenue, and of course they're forecasting to go way higher than that over the next 5 years. That is the potential could be pretty exciting. So we're gonna keep watching it. Obviously, corporates, they have their own issues in terms of growth. And we know that Sun Mineral has got the big buy and burn. I'm estimating that they've got somewhere like $8 or $9 million in the buy treasury. So definitely awesome. And I think they're holding on to a lot of that because they've got their big Floyn listing coming up within only weeks, I think. So that Floyn listing, and of course that will give them access to a lot of high valued customers in Europe. We'll keep a lookout for that. This story will unravel, I guess, or fold out. Was it unfold? Yeah, unfold over the next couple of months. So they're still in that sort of discovery phase of growth, the sort of early phase. And I think we need to give them another 6 more months and also see their actions. So follow up the intentions as well. And I think they're also creating almost like a blockchain, like a stock market listing. And of course, I think they've got to get a bit used to the fact that this is DeFi. You can't, operate your publication, your public relations like you do on the stock market with all the regulations, etc. DeFi is, anybody's game, right? So they have to remember that. So a few things there. Now they have had a few corporate buys. So let's have a quick look at that. We're going to go to the ramp now. Of course, they're using that to do the buy and burns. There was quite a bit of nice little buying coming through on the account again, but I wanted to get to the wallet here. So this is the Ramp Now wallet, right? And I just wanted to highlight a couple of buyings here. I think the last corporate buy and burn. Let's scroll down a little bit here. It looks like this one here. So 2 days and 4 hours ago, looks like the last one. And looks like they did 2 of them in a row, actually, from the looks of it. Actually, no, not quite 2 in a row. They normally do about $11,000 at a time, but these were 2 only an hour and apart. So they actually did quite a bit, and they ended up buying a lot there. So that means that that's going to burn all that supply, but we haven't seen really much since that in the last 2 days. And it is all during the week too, which is normally when we expect to see the buy and burn operate. So they're being definitely doing buy and burns a couple a week, but nothing like we're expecting. Like we're expecting much more than that. Probably $250,000 a week is what we're expecting. So they're obviously playing, setting it up for maybe this Floyn listing is my guess. They've also got their customer website to fully make that operational for buying on with discounts on SOAR, and that could see a massive ramp up, not just the corporate buy and burns, but customers buying SOAR token to get the discounts on products. Remember, this is not a business doing $1 million. This is a business basically probably doing well over $100 million now US. So it's not pretty significant from that point of view. We'll keep an eye out on this. Sun Mineral, one of my magnificent 7, and slowly and surely. And of course, we are seeing almost getting some bullish crosses here too. Let me just get rid of the Ramp Now wallet, and let's go into the thing. So we're watching these moving averages as well. Obviously, we've got plenty of room in the RSI, so we'll keep abreast of the old SOAR Sun Mineral there. Our first corporate on PulseChain. And of course, you know what this means too is that not only do they have maybe the Floyn listing and all the customers buying, so this is going to be a big ramp up in value, but also the access to institutions. This will be the most first obvious way that we'll get access to institutions coming onto PulseChain outside the good old Hex Investment Trust. So if we get any update on that, we'll let you know. And of course, if Hex Investment Trust can get listing on the Nasdaq, that'd be huge for PulseChain. If they can get set up a PulseChain investment trust and get that onto Nasdaq too, that'd be fantastic, right? So now that we've got through the SEC, this could be some of the implications of what's happening in that space. We haven't heard much from those crew, but maybe we do in the future. We'll keep that a question mark. And but here with Sun Mineral, it's something real, something happening now, and potentially something that could be very large. And of course, bringing in all these US dollars via euro, so euros to US dollars over on PulseChain, and very exciting where this will head as well. and may give some sort of installation to the crypto cycle as well. We're having a economic cycle as well behind this corporate. So we'll keep a look on it. Lots of things to unravel or to roll out, let's say, over the next 6 months and beyond. All right, let's jump into Torus, shall we? I think it's Torus. So yeah, we only had a few coins that are like up a couple percent today, so not a lot of action on PulseChain, but we're going to get into Torus and Ethereum. So we're switching blockchains now. So I hope you guys enjoy the content. Get in the chat there if you guys got any questions about this as well. So firstly of all, congratulations to Cryptographics. This thing is doing very well, and I think it's still early, dude. I think it's still about to take off. And if it's doing this well already within 5 days, it's who knows what could happen. We're seeing more influencers come out of the woodwork as well. So obviously more audiences are going to hear about it. Yeah, but I posted this out earlier today and a couple hours ago. Torus, after just 5 days, hit $500,000 in the buy and burn treasuries. I call them treasuries, right? That's basically capturing all the value that's going into the protocol. And of course, people are swapping their TitanX and Ethereum for Torus. And of course, that builds up treasuries, which helps build up the value of the protocol. So there we go. TitanX and Torus are also price breaking up to the upside, which is pretty crazy. And of course, there's the website there for Torus. So I'll post a link to this as well in the chat there if you guys want to check it out. But that is going pretty nicely there. So Torus, we're going to break it down. I'm going to break it down here. And of course, this is on the Ethereum chain. Now, the thing I like about this, of course, is that it's frontier tokenomics. As you guys know, one of my things about crypto, why I stay in crypto so long, is one of the reasons is because the tokenomics. I love people pushing the boundary of tokenomics, and this is exactly what Cryptographics has done here with Torus. So it is very exciting, and we're going to talk about or illuminate the difference that he's done with previous TitanX projects with this Torus. So we'll talk about that. So that's pretty awesome. Let's jump over to the website, and we can see, we're going to go to stats, and we can see at the moment, this is just 1 day valuation. Now, obviously, this is subject to price, and it's also subject to the profile of the amount of Torus that's in the daily pool, right? So which is going to go down every day, right? The profile just goes down by 0.08% per day. And we can see we started off on day one with 100,000, and now we're sitting at 99,600. So that's going to continue to go down at 0.08% a day. So actually, Torus in the daily pool gets scarce. Now, if you think about it, every day that goes past, it adds that less than 100,000 tokens to the pool overall, right? And of course, when people create something, when they create a pool, they create potential. They basically create potential for the future daily auctions or daily pool rewards that are going to come out. So you just over the next 88 days, right? So it's kind of the idea. So at the moment, that pool, because the price of Torus is going up, the value of the pool's going up as well, even though the daily amount's going down. So pretty exciting. Now, Torus there at the moment, we've got 17% is liquid. So liquid supply is only 70%. We've got a couple percentage in burned already. That's burned, I think it's 1.4%. And then we've got 27% that is staked, which has been the big surprise to the upside, but probably not surprising in some ways. And this is very bullish for the protocol. And then, of course, we've got 54% supply in LP, liquidity LP, right? So, it's kind of technically liquid, but it's sitting in LP there. And then, of course, supply. We've got 19,700, and this is the number that hasn't really changed. We started off with 20,000. That was the initial sort of supply. We're sitting at 19,700. We've only had next to nothing come out with these new creations. So creations, think of it like mining, but it's actually slightly different, right? So we got 9,700. We've got burnt Torus at 407 tokens, and we've got stake Torus at 5,300. And this is really what's driving a lot of behavior as well. So we'll talk about that. Total shares is kind of the key number you have to think about, because all the future Torus supply that's been already pre-allocated, which is like 9.2 million, is being allocated by the share rate. So as more people come in, they spread the shares out, right? They get more shares and they spread out that 9.2 million. And of course, every additional day that we go forward adds about, just less than 100,000. That gets spread out amongst more people. And this is the difference. This is the key difference you need to think about. This is different from like the way TitanX was done, whereas if you saw big candles in the future, they were really what people were going to get individually. But now that future stuff that people are going to get individually actually gets spread out amongst everybody else that comes in afterwards. So it's really quite genius from that point of view. And we're going to really see how that changes the whole behavior in the ecosystem, including future staking, which is really the pivotal thing. So those two things are probably the key takeaways there, is how the growth in shares and the users in the protocol end up splitting up those future rewards for Torus. So basically, the only rewards that people have locked in when they do a creation is the first 5 days, right? Because we're only 5 days in it, 5 days, 6-7 hours into it. So far, we're on day number 6 right now. And of course, you only, even though you might have a reward at the moment that says 18,000%, you only lock in the days that have already locked down, right? So it's only 5 days, right? So you have to divide that by 88 days, for example, if you did 88-day miner / creation. And of course, that would end up only just being 18,000% divided by 88, right? So you're only getting 5 days of that so far. So that's the logic there. Now, obviously, that's going to change over time as more people come in, as it grows. That future supply is going to share out. So let's have a quick look at what I'm talking about. This chart here is the future supply. You can see it there. Let me just do a refresh here to make sure we got the latest and greatest on the old Torus here. That's from Mike Dean on June. And let's have a look at the chart here. So this chart here, it was an update an hour ago. It's currently sitting. Oh, actually, we got the value up here, haven't we? No, not that one. We're going to come back here. 19.2 million. So that's what I said. And we can see that this is what the future supply. But this future supply isn't like TitanX, where we used to have all these big miners out, the big whales, and they'd have these big supplies coming out. This is actually going to be redistributed by the time we have more people come in between day 5 and let's say day 88 and beyond. We're going to have a lot of the stuff in here get redistributed to many other people. And that's going to change the supply distribution. And that's one of the key factors here. It's going to be dramatic, and it's going to be fun to see how this plays out. So congratulations, Cryptographics, for coming up with this idea. I think it's a very, very cool indeed. And so, yeah, pretty crazy. But look at the numbers. We already had $632,000 come into the protocol. Yesterday, we were sitting at just at around $500,000. And now we're here. I think we're sitting about 588,000. We're now at 632,000. So things are really starting to roll up here. And so, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So we're up about $125,000 there on yesterday. And it's just, I think, going to start steamrolling is my guess, especially when you see, people see stats like this with almost $1 million. And I think we're not too far away from hitting the $1 million mark on the daily payout pools. Now, obviously, this is, like I say, it's subject to price in the market. But man, we're expecting different phases in this. We're in the early phase, and so I don't see anything unabating here. We're only day 5. I think the first 2 weeks we could see quite a rally in the price. And of course, what do we see in Torus? We see the price rallying up at all time, pretty much all-time high. I'm not sure what the first day was, but yeah, we're already up at all-time highs already. So this is pretty crazy. So we're up at $9.66. I can see this continue just to go higher, because people are now, instead of just going in and creating Torus, which I think you should do, that's what you should do, people are buying and staking it, right? They're buying and staking it because they're seeing the yield there, right? So that's the yield at the moment on max stake, so 4,700%. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Whereas if you create, you're going to get, it's 18,000 at the moment. So it's a better off, you're going to make trade-offs, right? Some people playing the short game, medium game, the long game, but this game is very different from the previous ones. If you look at it like that. And so when I'm saying game theory is very sort of different from that point of view. So yeah. And also we see at the same time, Torus always is buying a bit of TitanX and burning Torus, sorry. And of course also buying, it's also buying with the buy and burn pools. It's actually huge now, right? So we're well over $500,000 now in the pools, and you guys have seen this in the last couple of days. It's just going up and up and up and up here, and it's well over $500,000 now. We just hit that today, which is in the treasury. So it's sitting in the buy and burn. It's sitting in the buy and build, which is building liquidity, right? So you're fattening up the liquidity pool. And we can see that on Torus that we have finally gone over $200,000 in Torus there. Isn't that awesome? In the volume. So very, very cool. Everything's heading up in the right directions. And of course, we've also got the Fractal, which has also got, look at it, it's got $111,000 in the Fractal. So we're looking pretty awesome. Add these all these up in the Fractal. Fractal ticks off at day 110, and that's after the 88-day max. And so that's more buying pressure later on, which is pretty cool. And so altogether, you add those up, there's over $500,000. But watch, this thing's going to go into the millions. It's going to be pretty exciting to see and maybe well beyond that. And of course, as the price of Ethereum goes up, the value of this will go up. As the value of Ethereum goes up, the value of TitanX, all things equal, goes up as well. So this is just going to re-rate with the value of ETH and TitanX as a leverage. And we can also see TitanX already moving up, breaking out yesterday. Very crucial breakout yesterday. We're up at 10 zeros, 8,300 on TitanX. And of course, it does look finally as moving up. Now, obviously, the RSI is a little hot over on TitanX, but for the daily. But it is a bit better on the 4 hour. Let me have a look, 4 hour there. I'm not even showing up. Maybe I haven't got the limit on there. But we're going to go, we've got the ETH ratio on, right? So this is the ETH ratio. This is even more important. So let me just go to the weekly here. And we can see that on the ETH ratio, we have actually bounced. So this is the material advantage of leverage of TitanX over Ethereum. And we see Ethereum at the moment up about 3%. But we're down at 10 zeros, 5,000 at the bottom. We're now at 10 zeros, 8,300. So we have a material increase in TitanX moving up to the upside. So that's super bullish for the old TitanX on the weekly. So looking very good. And of course, Torus is probably playing the critical role in that right now, in addition to Ethereum, right? So very, very exciting. Everything is aligned. You're coming off the bottom of TitanX. You got Torus, which is buying and burning. Buying TitanX, and then also burning Torus. And so that's everything is the stars are aligned. So pretty cool. Now, that also brings us to the stat supply, and we've been watching that. What impact has it been having? Well, we're down at 68 trillion TitanX now, and that is essentially Torus is driving this, right? And we see that Torus is keep flipping the other TitanX projects. So it's already flipped a number of projects, flipped Vault, flipped Helios. It is now sitting at number 6, and we can see that it's got at least 2.1 trillion TitanX has gone into it so far. I talked to you guys about maybe the first 10 days, the 14 days, so 10 days to 2 weeks, that if it could do 10 trillion, that'd be a mighty move on TitanX. And so far, we're doing pretty well on day 5. And I think things are only just about to start to ramp up here as more people hear about it and so forth. So, and TitanX starting to move up. It's all self-fulfilling, right? The positive wheel. We can see that it's sitting at number 6. It's got quite a way to go to get to Hyper at 9.2 trillion. But I think, man, we're only day 5. So give it a couple of weeks. And Hyper could be under pressure. So could Shogun as well. So keep a lookout for that. But if we change the metric and we look at TitanX LP, we can see that actually Torus is sitting at number 5. So when it comes to LP, but even more importantly, TitanX locked, we can see that Torus is actually sitting at number 2 behind Ouroboros, the big liquidity fork, modified liquidity fork there at 2.1. So sorry, 1.6. So that's pretty huge there as well. So we're going to keep a lookout for this. Very, very cool stuff happening here. And I think TitanX is about to go below 68 trillion there. And as things accelerate the Torus, I think this number will accelerate as well. Very, very excited about that. And just remember that TitanX is sitting on this big giant buy and burn treasury of $14 million US, as well as a payout for the 88-day sitting at $3.5 million. So that's $16.5 million sitting in the old payouts there that can be used for buy and burn, and of course more purchasing as well with the payouts, particularly by DragonX and Helios and things like that. So very, very excited about that. All right, so that is kind of cool. In fact, I haven't got the actual the side up here for TitanX. I'm going to probably bring it up. We can see green candles along the board there. So DragonX up 22%, even X28 managing to make a bit of a move there, 14%. Hydra 29%. Remember, Hydra also has a buy and burn in it. Let's go check that out. While we're talking about buy and burns, we'll go check that out as well. That is sitting on $1.3 million of DragonX. So that's very bullish there. It's paired up with DragonX, obviously. So that's all in a play. You turn all these on at once. Man, oh man, it could be some crazy stuff. And now, of course, DragonX has its buy and burn. Last time we couldn't find it, right, because it was playing up. But I think it's in the Dow page. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming up as error, so I'm not sure it's going there. But I think from memory, it had about $3 million worth of Ethereum in there. I don't know what's Ethereum and of course TitanX and DragonX, so I'm not sure what's got in there now. So it had ETH in there actually, about $3 million about that. So I'm not sure why it's not showing up on my site, but there we go. So yeah, a lot of buying power here, and of course TitanX coming off the bottom could be pretty bullish. Let's have a look at the US price of TitanX. There's all positive flywheel stuff, right? We can also see that TitanX is coming off the bottom too, was down at 6 zeros, 1400, now at 6 zeros, 2600 in US dollar prices. But the more important one is this wrapped ETH, right? This wrapped ETH here looking very, very positive there. And of course, not too far away from losing a zero, right? Once we lose a zero, get to 9 zeros, that really gets the market excited. We'll probably face some resistance there at the 10 zeros, but if we break through that, then you're talking about, potential hyper rally, something like this, maybe even more aggressive than that. So especially if Torus keeps doing its thing. So it's a win-win on all accounts. And Torus, of course, continue to rise up there, $9.66. And as I say, people are staking in the old Torus here. So they're going to earn and then they're going to stake, and they're staking in there to get some of that access to that shares. Now you get the same amount of shares, right? 7.7 million. And of course, people are pretty positive about that. 7.7 million for the same amount of power. So people are pretty excited there. What else are we going to say about this? So stats. We don't have a big supply. So I just want to make that very clear. The supply is only at 19,700. We don't expect a lot of supply coming out in the days ahead. So let's have a look at that while we can. We got Tintop in the house there. What's up, Hexkins? Good to see you, Tintop. We got. Let's look at some of these metrics, shall we? Day 5 and 7 hours in, and we got $632,000 into the system. And look, that's going to head to the millions, so we're going to keep watching that. So far, 38 ETH has gone in there. We saw this number's a little bit lagged. I'm not sure the differences. There's probably some little definitional difference there. We're at 2.1 trillion, but sorry, it's just under 2 trillion here. And we've got total future supply. So if we're only at the moment, if you go to the site, we only got 19,700. We are expecting, this is a potentiality over the future, right? How many days ahead does this include? Well, it includes day 94 because we're, this is the day that it comes out. So 5 days plus 88 days kind of thing. And that gets us to 94. It is a pretty big deal. So 9.2 million, and that's going to be redistributed. That's the key thing. Not like TitanX. This is not hard locked miners getting the yield at the time. This stuff will all get redistributed. Everything after day 5 is going to get redistributed, right? So just remember that, relatively speaking. The more people that come in, the more shares that get distributed amongst everybody. This is your key takeaway. This whole of supply gets distributed to more people, which makes it more sticky. It makes the whole ecosystem more sticky. And then, of course, we're going to have to see what the staking behavior is like in the future for people to capture yields, as opposed to, TitanX, we might see people just selling for their ROI. And, of course, we're going to see how that changes in this game. So it's one of the key pivotal things going on here. So it's going to be fun to see this get redistributed as we move forward day by day. Now, every day we move forward, of course, there's just under 100,000 tokens in the pool getting added to this number, but it's at a decreasing rate of 0.8% a day, as we see. So that's also going to obviously play into place. And, of course, you've got all more people coming in. So it's going to be fun to see it all play out, and it's going to be pretty cool. I think that was kind of the cool thing I wanted to, like I say, and at the moment, in the next 2 weeks, we haven't got a lot of people with a lot of supply coming out. I mean, look at the unlock day 2, day 3. Day 16 is the next one, 45. There's hardly anything coming out in the next 2 weeks. That's why I said we could well see, because of this, we could well see this price go up and away, because not only is there not much coming out in the next sort of 2 weeks, we have got, and even longer, actually. I mean, it just depends what you think. If we grow strong, then even the next 3 weeks won't be any, 21 days minus 5 over the next sort of 16 days. We won't see much action either, I don't think. I think the market quite easily will absorb all those too. And of course, don't forget, we've got that buy and burn operating to some degree as well, which can be ramped up in the future from 1% of the buy and burn balance to 10%. So we've got all those sort of mechanisms in play. Now, I just want to talk about quickly the supply. So far, we had 722 creations. So that's people going in and making basically miners, as let's use a term that people use to kind of mining, and of course that's creating. So we've got 722 people that have done those, or at least accounts. Some people may have done multiple, right? So unique creators could be lower. And then we've had 106 stakes. So people have come over to stake and done 106 of these stakes, right? And so that has been in the play. So we see the activity. This is a very key chart, right? So we see obviously the cumulative creations going up, but we've seen the first day was very high. We had 289, but we've come down, have a little bit ups and downs. This is the chart that we're really going to be watching, right? This is adoption, right? This is an adoption chart. This is very critical, and we're going to keep watching this in the future to see whether it starts ramping up as more people come in and start making creations, because people are going to hear about, these high ROIs, and of course the stats with the big daily payout pool, and it's not very close to getting over $1 million. It will get over there. I see this price just going up, in my view. Obviously not financial advice, do due diligence, but with not much supply coming out, even up to day 21. It could be pretty crazy. So we're going to keep looking out for that. We've also got Torus daily stakes. We're seeing that start to peak and then start to come down, but I'm suspecting that's still going to come in every day. So there's not a lot of supply around, so it's going to push the price up. So people continue to do that staking behavior. That's really a key driver of price because they're buying on the market and there's no supply coming out, as we said, to like day 16, 21. Very little supply indeed. And we could see that just continue to rise up there. And of course, that will push up the day payout pools and the yields and everything else in the next few weeks. Now, after that, of course, once you start getting a couple thousand coming out, maybe day 25 or so, day 30, then we could see the market change. We could see a correction in the price, all sorts of stuff like that. So just take note of that. So pretty crazy. What else there? Yeah, circulating supply. We've had 1.4% of that circulating supply, so or at least the total supply burned. And we've only got 82 liquid holders. And a lot of these don't have a lot of tokens, right? There's not many tokens in the holders in 82 and not holding many tokens. And I think the market can absorb a few of those. We've had a few little sell downs here, very slight, but there's not a lot around. So it's going to be fun, a fun game in the sun. And it's maybe what TitanX needed to ignite. And of course, with TitanX, we're still waiting for Jake Sharp to release his new utility. Probably be around AI agents or something clever like that. It's going to burn X28. X28, of course, is the omni-chain version of TitanX. So we're looking forward to that. We could see the buy and burn start to tick on at some stage. Maybe once Ethereum gets up a bit higher in price, we'll see what Jake Sharp's trigger is there. And then, of course, we've got Vault up 25%. We're waiting for Bitcoin Genie to launch. That's the next project. Two big projects that I was expecting to launch, Torus and, of course, Bitcoin Genie from crazy mad scientist Stevie D. We've got Inferno, of course. We're expecting a lot more from that team with Crypto Utah. I think he was in the chat earlier. I think he was in up here. Where'd he go? Yeah, Crypto Utah. Yeah, altcoin season engaged. So their team, we're expecting a lot more from their team. They've already done stuff on other chains. So kind of cool there. Morpheus, of course, we're expecting that big stuff from Brandon, and of course up 35% there, of course. And we're expecting a lot more things to happen with the old switch swap decks there and the buy and burn. So that's up 35%, looking very nice indeed. Expecting that to be one of the better performers as well in the TitanX ecosystem. Torus obviously has risen through the ranks. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo! It's going up through ranks. Because remember, Torus was just launched. It was all the way down here at number 41. And now it has risen. This is the first day I've seen it. It's got now but number 16 now. Oh, that is so cool. I'm sure Cryptographics is watching that one too. But that is exciting, up 29% there, and it's going up and away, and looking very cool. So what that's ranked by Burnt Staked, I guess it's ranked by Burnt, I'm guessing. Just trying to think what this is ranked by. Burnt Staked, there's got the arrow on it. So yeah, it is going to rise up there too. So the buy and burn's hardly turned on, relatively speaking. So expect that just to ride through. In fact, it's going to pass ALGO, Phoenix, Awesome X, and all these Morpheus. It's going to rise all through there and start climbing up there. So that's pretty critical. And yeah, we've got all these other projects that have been going over since Uranus, right? We've had these projects going over the base chain. We're expecting other chains to be launched as well. We've got Helios doing H420. E280, we've got Inferno doing Infernox there, and yeah, the big project that I'm expecting to come out is Bitcoin Genie from Stevie D. No doubt he's waiting for the right timing, and that is the other one that's at the frontier of tokenomics, particularly around the buy side and sustainability side, which is what Torus is focusing on. How do you solve that? And of course, we're looking forward to that. So Bitcoin Genie, the other big project there, we're expecting to come up there. But hey, look, TitanX on the move, yeah, it's going to be fun to see where that all goes. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that coverage. It was pretty cool. I'm just trying to think, is there anything I haven't said about it? I guess that's the question. But that is all taken off indeed. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And of course, if you want to check it out, you can do that. I posted the link as well. And I'll post the link to Torus there is in the chat. Torus links. Also put in the June report. If you guys haven't joined Strategy Club, join up today. Links in the video description for that. And of course, I think Wookie's got his link there too. And you can get access to a lot of commentary and other stuff there in the old Strategy Club and ask questions and all sorts of things. So very cool. Only $35 a month, which is fantastic value there. So I just posted that. There we go on the Torus links. So check those out. Got two links there. Accidentally combined them together. So there we go. All right. And a TitanX. So we post TitanX as well. TitanX Hub. Post that too. You guys, I think most of you know TitanX Hub, so we'll post that. So very cool. We're going to see how that plays out. So far, so good. So far, so good. And we're looking forward to good things happening here. All right, we're up to an hour and 30 minutes. Can you believe it? I thought it was like 45 minutes, but this is the way it goes. So we've covered just about everything out there, I think. There's not too much we haven't covered. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. We've covered stock market. We've started with the Genius Act. We've covered the crypto markets. We've covered the news things that are happening in crypto. We've covered the PulseChain. We've covered TitanX on Ethereum with the breakout to the upside. There's a lot of things happening in the space. We've covered the big whale sell dumper, and maybe we've only got a couple of days to a week to go from there. Maybe getting the discount of the century right now. Certainly, Hex is definitely on sale with this big whale selling his Hex, and then maybe it's a chance to buy the opportunity of a lifetime. And of course, we see Richard Hart there out there leading the way. You know, getting the updated PulseChain website. Getting onto promotions with potentially millions of digital products going to homes around the world, inspiring the community like Hex Scout to set up, new organizations to help support that promotion. It is pretty exciting. And of course, today posting out the PulseX conference with RH Max, and of course getting 17,000, 18,000 views on that with that repost from Richard Hart, of course. So lots of cool things happening in the space. And yeah, exciting times ahead for sure. Now, as you guys know, the Monster Thread was also out this week, and it's only been out for about 2 days, so definitely check it out and share it around. There is a $50 surf competition in there for reposting, and very easy to get into on the entry, and you got a very good chance. It's probably almost, I wouldn't say infinitely, but it's certainly a lot better than a lottery ticket there. And $50 surf. Now, surf, of course, a great team out there, Crypto Paradise, doing amazing things on the old PulseChain. All right, I think we're up to an hour 15. That's pretty much the max show. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the PulseX conference over the last 2 days. And of course, you guys know I'll be back here tomorrow again, a daily show, 8 p.m. Eastern, which is pretty fun, which is about 10 a.m. in Australia, midday New Zealand time, down under here at the bottom of the world. But in the future, 19 hours in the future here, bringing you the state of the art, back to the future sort of coverage. All right, should we wrap up? I think we will wrap up here. I really appreciate everybody's support. If you're not following on X, definitely smash the follow. Heading towards 1,000 followers. As you guys know, I've had to rebuild, so follow there. And of course, if you're on YouTube, smash the YouTube. We're getting good growth on some of the YouTube channels, so it's nice to see that starting to happen. And you guys know we're still, once we get a turnaround on PulseChain, it's game on, right? It's game on. And this could very well be the last little fire sale on from Wales before we move on to greatness. We've still got the Magic Cup right out there, and with ETH breaking out over 3,100, man, it's got to be getting bigger and bigger. In fact, should we let's look at that quickly? Why not? Let's look at it. There's so much good stuff happening. Even though the whales are selling, we've got so much good stuff happening there. In fact, look at this. This is pretty cool. Let's bring this up. This is the Magic Cup ride. Of course, the PulseChain Sacrifice Reserve, or Strategic Reserve, as we like to call it. It is currently worth 537 million, almost 38. And of course, originally was worth 645. We are not far away from getting back out there now that ETH is starting to rally to the upside. And of course, we're only $107 million, I should say, or 16% down from where we were. I think we were over 60% down, weren't we, at some stage? So we're only down 16% and on the road to glory here. And things are just about to ramp up. So, obviously we're not expecting much of this money to be used until we very much get into the money, which is at $3,773. But hey, look, who knows what other stores of value are out there. Maybe this, who knows? Maybe Richard was this whale that sold. And of course, we've got billions of dollars potentially kind of collateralized. So who knows? Anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. All right. So we'll leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to play out our bullish thing on the way out with good old. Should we go to which screen am I on here? We're going to go to the other screen here. I'm not sure what's on the screen. So we're going to. Is that the screen I'm trying to go to? I'm not sure. Let's see here. This one here? Maybe it's this one. Let's go check this one. Oh, it's got crypto graphics on there. I just saw that. All right, we're going to play Referral Bonus because this is kind of where we are at the moment with the bull market cycle on the verge of the banana part of the curve. Get bullish, guys. Obviously, this discount maybe over the next few days. Definitely something worth DCAing and picking up a lot of that sweet, low-priced Hex and PulseChain assets. That's all I can say. Not financial advice, of course. Do your own due diligence. Hope you guys enjoy it. Catch you guys all tomorrow, and I'll see you in Discord. Woo! Join up today, and of course, Telegram also. Bye for now.
Not a mystery. It is a repeat of the debt cycle. They are rolling the debts. They are doing the same thing. Each cycle is not to do with a halving cycle, nothing to do with any of that. It's all driven by liquidity cycle and funding of debts. Each phase, we get phase 1 of the banana zone, banana number 1. The corrective zone, banana number 2 comes. Another correction, banana number 3. So this is the banana zone. So that's what happened in 2020, 2021. Off we go. Sorry, that was 2017, which again looks very similar to this one. That was the last one. Here we are now. It can't be clearer to me. I've shown you the macro evidence, the technical evidence, the sentiment evidence. Everything here suggests to me that hold on to your hats, don't fuck this up, don't lose control of your tokens, don't use leverage, don't get your wallet hacked, just sit with it, be careful, don't get FOMO, do all of the right things, and we'll go up to the next phase of correction zone. That's going to be harder, because the next one that happens, we'll have a 35% drop, and you'll all say, is it over? And you'll definitely be sure it's over, and everybody on Twitter will tell you it's over, and it won't be over. By our work, we suggest that because of the elongation of the business cycle, because rates were higher for longer, the forward-looking liquidity suggests that, again, probabilistically speaking, without any guarantees, this whole thing goes into Q1, maybe Q2 of 2026, which would align with Trump's, trying to win the midterms as well. So everything's lined up for us. I think it started. So keep the faith, keep building stuff, and let's keep driving Siri forward with all of this. Thank you.
You could get a God candle at any moment. You could get a giant green candle at any moment, because it's easier to get them, because it takes less economic energy, because there's less of it for sale.